I know what you're thinking. My beard met its tragic end yesterday involving a wood chipper and some marshmallow fluff. Dealing with this baby face is my challenge, not yours. Your Monday morning challenge, should you choose to accept it, began yesterday. Hopefully, it began in God's house. Since you were here yesterday or possibly watching online, you know the challenge was to have a proper view, to have a biblical view of missions. A missionary is one who is working in their local church, serving the Lord by serving people in that local church. While they're doing their best to serve the Lord in their local body of believers, the Lord tells both them and the leaders of this church, I want this couple. I want this family to serve me in a different way. I want them to go to another culture. I want them to share the gospel, and I want them to make disciples and start a church. And the family that God calls heard the call from God. And the church leaders see God calling that family. And the church sends that couple out to share the gospel, to make disciples, and to start a church. Another pastor I worked with, as people were called to leave our church and take on a pastorate somewhere else or to go to the mission field, said this: God calls the best. As a church, we were happy to see God's call in their life, but it was also very painful for us to lose them as they were serving the Lord doing so much in our church. Can I pose the question to you this morning? What are you doing in your local church? If you left, would you be missed because you're serving so much in so many ways? Or would it take a few weeks for someone to finally notice, hey, I haven't seen so-and-so in a while. Are they okay? Yesterday, I quoted Paul, who was talking to young Timothy, and Paul said this: the same commit thou to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. This is the idea of making disciples. Notice, though, Paul qualified who we should be committing the word to, who we should be discipling. Paul said, faithful men. No, I'm not saying we shouldn't disciple ladies. Whether you're a man or a lady, consider what the Apostle Paul said to the church in Corinth. Moreover, it is required among stewards, read stewards particularly of the gospel, that a man be found faithful. I do not think enough can be said in our day and age about being faithful. Noah Webster defined faithful as consistent in the performance of duties or services. Most people think your character, your reputation is forged in those big moments, those hero type moments where you run into a burning building or you take a bullet for someone. But nothing could be further from the truth. Most of the people interviewed for doing things which our society deems heroic simply say, I was just doing my duty. Long before the moment arrived when their character was tested, they made the decision. Every day they made the decision when they decided to do the basic things, the mundane things, to the best of their ability. They chose to be faithful in little things that didn't seem to matter in the moment, and when the big thing came, they were also faithful. Ben Franklin is quoted as having saying, if you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. Jesus said in Matthew 25:21, his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of thy Lord. Whether you're doing a lot or you're doing a little, whether you're doing something that everybody knows about or something that no one knows about, I want to challenge you this morning. Please be faithful. Ron Hamilton said it this way: faithful in little things, because little things make big things. I propose to you this morning that God will not call you to do something greater if you're not faithful in the small things that you have the privilege of doing right now. Be faithful to read the Word. Be faithful to spend time in prayer daily. If you're physically able, be faithful to attend God's house every time the doors are open. Be faithful to serve the Lord by serving His people. Be faithful to share the gospel while you're going. God will not call someone to be a pastor or a missionary or a deacon or a Sunday school teacher if you're not already faithful. If you're someone who already holds one of those roles in the church and you're struggling to be faithful, you already know what to do. And you know how to do it. God will give you His grace to do the work that He wants you to do. Choose to be faithful, no matter how small and mundane it might seem. I know These things are challenging. If they weren't challenging, then it wouldn't be the Monday Morning Challenge. Have a blessed day. Serve God wherever you are.